Welcome back to Razovsar TV. Today I'm going to do a review on some of techniques in Razovsar. First of all, I'm going to explain some important things. As we know, our colleagues in 133 treatise, or as British say, treatise, or manuscript, they keep their hands always, most of the time, together unless they come back, and then they do this with a straight sword. We have seen that as well, that some of our colleagues, based on some older pictures from Georgian swordsmanship, also have shown that they do it as this way as well. Our colleague Devin Borman from Canada showed that there is a Bolognese tradition where they also put their hands together, but then they have more sweeping cuts as far, so they get out of each other more often than 133. Now the question for us is, what about Persian system and Razovsar? As our colleagues in African martial arts and also in Aztec or Mesoamerican martial arts are doing, Razovsar is not only based on a set of one or two manuscripts of one or two masters, but my research is also based on iconography. Lots of miniatures. Persian manuscripts provide us with hundreds, thousands of miniatures, and an analysis of them shed lots of light on how they fought. I also have battle accounts. For example, in Lexicon of Arms and Armor from Iran, you see Shamshir ba Farq Zadan, which starts from Shanon, and you see in most of the manuals also Alamaroi Shah Tahmas, Shah Abbas from Safavid period, which also talk about the same technique. So you see a consistency. Now, without getting lost about this consistency and how I analyze that from my book, Persian Archery and Swordsmanship, I would like to mention something to you. Did they put their hands together? Let me show you first of all the first miniature, which is from the Shahnameh, and you're going to see that there. Here you see a miniature from Shahnameh. You see a number of warriors who are attacking, and in a formation. They're all holding their shamshir on their shoulders or above the head and protecting their faces. Look at the warrior who is wearing a green khaftan with yellow flowers or jazarand. He's protecting his face and striking his opponent who is kneeling down on top of the head with Shamshir ba Farq Zadan. Strike his head on top of the head of your opponent. Look, his hand is way extended in front of his separ, his shield is not protecting his hand. You can see it in all miniatures, the same move. You see that? He has a bazu band, but his hand is not protected. Go to another miniature of Shahnameh. I'm showing these people on foot so that you are not going. Some people might say, oh, this is their warriors on horseback. They are on foot. Look at this person. He's again protecting his chest or part of his lower face, his chin, with his separ, and striking his opponent on his arm where the bazu band is not protecting it, and as you see, successfully. Again, his hand is extended. You see that he's not putting his hand and shield together. Admittedly, it is not as extended as the miniature before, but again, it is extended, as you can clearly see it here. Look at the position of his legs, and look at the position of his hand and his shield. Another miniature which I'm going to show you is from Tarikh Jangushay Nadiri, which is famed that it's not only a symbolic representative and miniature, but all details of arms and armor. They're basically paintings, if you want. They put it, illuminated it as the exact quickly as possible. That's what this manuscript is famed for. We see people are fighting on horseback, we see people are fighting on foot, and they are fighting against each other. And there you see again that they are not holding their hands together. Even this, right? This, then you see that the hand is going forward and then attack. Why am I saying this? You see this consistency in many miniatures, in many paintings of the period, that they are not doing it. Please see this. This book is famed that the paintings in it are miniatures, but they call them paintings because they're bigger. They are really, really very well made and depict all weapons in their original shape. Also armor. Look at the person on the left. I mean, it's a melee. He is hitting his opponent on the back. But look, his hand is again extended. His shield is protecting his chest and his face, but his hand is extended in front of his shield. Look at the position of his leg again, a forward stance. You see this again clearly, and the position of his hand here. From تاریخ جهانگشای نادری. Now please, you can take a look at the same painting, but this time I would like you to look at the person who makes an extended attack with his shamshir. And look, he's even placing his shield way behind. And again, he is not protecting his hand. They're attacking, escaping enemies, as you can see. These Persian warriors, Iranian warriors. You see, I just would like to again repeat, hand and shield, separ and shamshir are not held together. Please take a look at that. I'm not saying it's wrong to put them together. I just would like to mention again and again that when we see different cultures, we should not transfer from one culture to the other. That's all what I'm saying here. See again on foot back, the same technique, and this time you see a warrior is attacking his opponent with his extended right, and he's pulling his shield behind his back even, and neck even, I mean, to gain more power. Interestingly, look at the guy down, he's defending with an upper guard, as I have shown you. And the other guy is using Khanja and Separ. A very fascinating manuscript. I would really, really recommend it to just buy it, this manuscript and this book, and just look at the pictures. The descriptions of warfare are also very interesting. Now, the question for us is why not? Because the hands are not protected. Our colleague John Clemens had a very good point in one of the recent videos he did, which is going to be published, broadcast on Razmafzar TV soon. He mentions that mostly back then, as far as also in European context is concerned, they left their hands not protected most of the time. So why is it this? Because they wanted to feel the weapon? This is a question which I always have. In most miniatures you see that they're wearing bazoo band, they're wearing also helmet, everything protected. But then some of them are in تاریخ جهانگشای نادری. Some of them are wearing, for example, mail armor. But then some of them are only wearing khaftan, or as I talked with our colleague Dwyer, jazarent, maybe khaftan, which between a layer there is a mail armor. So you see it as well, but hands are mostly left naked. So the reason is, if the hands are left naked, how did they protect it? Why did they come forward and then they go? I think the key idea about it is also when you do with the one, with you do with the saber and you fight in European context with one. Saber is very curved, and then you have all these sweeping motions. Now, be it with the shield, So you basically fight with your shamshir, and shield comes in between and protects some areas, right? And you protect your hand by moving your shamshir all the time. Again, I proved it again and again in different endurance fights, also in many sparrings I did, that it is possible. Striking the hand, which is have a sweeping saber or shamshir, is not as easy as some people imagine. And besides, leaving the hands, not protected, as our colleague John Clemens had a point there. Now, this is from Shahnameh in Negaristan. As you can see, they're on horseback. I know they're not on foot. I've shown you enough miniatures on foot. Just showing you, this is Negaristan Shahnameh. Again, please look at the extended hand, look at the position of the shield, separ. You can see the same pattern when the warriors are on foot. Another one, you can see it here. Again, the same pattern, you can see it is Shahnameh in Negaristan. And you can see that he's raising his shield to protect his head, and then you can look at the strike with the shamshir, which is again extended. Okay, again, Negaristan, Shahnameh Negaristan. This is a legend, of course, fighting a dragon, but what is interesting for us is the same. He's on foot, and then look at the technique he's using again. You can see the same pattern. Now, why do we have combinations? Combinations in a lower level of Razmavsar, like 1, 2, 3 there are less, and then on 4 are going to have the system flexible. Are they to teach you to combine them? Do we need combinations? Yes, we do. I'm also a guy who comes from full contact martial arts. You know that I'm a black belt, certified black belt in Kyokushin Karate, one of the toughest style bare knuckle boxing. You know that I come from wrestling. You know that I'm a BJJ guy, and I'm going to get my instructor level soon there. You know that I am also, I have been doing boxing and kickboxing for many years, also on a competitive level. People from WKA remember my competitive years in kickboxing. The thing is, full contact is this, but even if you learn full contact, like in boxing, you learn, for example, as I said to you in one of my interviews, you learn, for example, how to do jab. You cannot say, okay, jab, now I'm going to react. Your body needs to get used to it. So jab, again, jab to the body, jab, jab, and then cross, come back. Jab, jab, cross, and then hook. In Muay Thai is the same. When you go to BJJ, underground, they teach you in aula, to open like this, the guard, then put the here, and then put your knee on the thigh of your opponent, try to cross over, go back. Then you go back and train it again and again. Judo, we know it has forms and katas. Katas are different combinations put together in karate. They are shorter, like in Japanese swordsmanship, Tenshin Shoden, Katori Shintori, which I practice, coming from 15th century, shorter ones, and then this. So this is the whole idea about that. The reason, so are these combinations depicted this way we practice in Razmavsar somewhere? No, techniques are. We know, for example, in different manuals, for example in Persian manuals, we see that this is, for example, Shamshir Farag Zadan is there. Right? We see, for example, that Shamshir Gardan Zadan is mentioned. Shamshir Gardan Zadan is mentioned. So that's why, for example, I teach my people to cut and strike and do that. Regarding the legs, we know that Jolo Raftan is mentioned, Agab Raftan. In any system, you need to go forward and backward and you go in. Right. And in any system of martial arts, you need also to go to the side and try to find it. This is not a way that you can keep pushing all the time. You need to push, you need to yield, you need to go to the side, control the fight. There is no way. We say it, as you know, that in Muay Thai and in Kyokushin. If you keep pushing forward, this is the best way to get knocked out. This is the mechanics of a fight. You need to push and let go, to yield. You need to go to the side, push and go. All these things I wanted to mention. All these miniatures and many more are analyzed in detail in my book, Persian Archery and Swordsmanship. Soon I'm going to publish a much more detailed book on Persian swordsmanship alone and the other weapons. And I wish you a nice day. And we have a web shop if you would like to buy my books. And thank you very much for your attention. Have a nice day.